small town of Miller's Hollow had always been peaceful, a slice of untouched Americana where everyone knew their neighbors. But as October rolled in, a strange chill settled over the community, bringing with it a series of inexplicable events that started with the discovery of a vintage, sepia-toned photograph in the local library's archives. The photograph depicted a group of townsfolk, dated October 31st, 1913, standing solemnly in front of the old mill. In the center was a young woman, her eyes dark and piercing, staring directly into the camera, a faint smile playing on her lips. Curiosity piqued, librarian Janet Simmons decided to display the photo in the library's main hall for the upcoming Halloween festival. However, the night after she placed the photograph, Janet was startled by a loud crash. Rushing to the hall, she found the frame shattered on the floor, the photograph missing, and in its place, a small, hand-carved wooden talisman. The following day, Janet noticed a peculiar change in the townspeople. Whispers filled the streets, and an air of suspicion clouded the once friendly faces. The town's oldest resident, Mrs. Whitmore, upon seeing the talisman, turned pale and muttered about an old legend of a witch named Eliza Crane who was said to return to the town every 100 years, searching for a vessel to inhabit and complete her interrupted ritual of immortality. Concerned, Janet began researching Eliza, learning that she was the woman in the photograph. The lore was that Eliza's spirit was trapped within the photograph, and if ever released, she would seek revenge on the descendants of those who had wronged her. As Halloween approached, eerie occurrences escalated. Pets went missing, strange shadows lurked at the edges of vision, and the photograph reappeared each morning, no matter how many times it was locked away. On Halloween night, with the town gathered in the main square, the air suddenly grew cold. The photograph, now prominently displayed again in the library window, seemed to pulse with a dark energy. As the clock struck midnight, Janet, driven by a force she couldn't understand, walked up to the photograph. The crowd gasped as her eyes met those of Eliza Crane's in the picture. In an instant, Janet's demeanor changed. The faint smile on her lips mirrored that of Eliza's in the photograph. She turned to the crowd, her eyes dark and piercing. The townspeople recoiled in horror as they realized the truth. The witch had found her new vessel. But the real twist came when Janet, or rather Eliza, began to laugh softly, revealing in the freedom. She knew something the townsfolk did not. The curse was not to inhabit one person, but to spread, soul to soul, through the gaze upon her image. As everyone had looked at her photograph that night, they had unknowingly invited Eliza into their lives. As the realization dawned on them, a scream cut through the night. Miller's Hollow would never be the same again.